All right. Welcome to Practically Spiritual with Mariah. I am Mariah. I am from Encinitas, California. I've been here since the late 70s and I can't seem to go anywhere else. So I'm going to stay here for now. Okay, so I hope you watched, what this channel is about. A big topic in my life and a big topic that's coming up a lot is the difference between unconditional love and the polar opposite of that, which is fear. So in all of these, in all of spirituality, right, which is just getting in touch with your spirit, it's not a religion, it's getting in touch with your true self. That's what it is. It's connecting to the true essence of who you are. And my truest essence is I'm a teacher, and I've known I'm a teacher. I'm born the year of the rooster, and I stand on the rooftop and scream and yell until people start to listen. But I think deep down, I'm a teacher. I've always been having that teacher energy, which can sometimes sound like, telling people what to do. And that's not my intention. Maybe it's just offering different perspectives for things. But anyway, the difference between fear and love. This is a hot topic. It was before I walked the Camino de Santiago in June of 24. I actually had a healing session with somebody. It was called Watsu. I had no idea what it was, but I just know what yes feels like in my body. I just know what this idea of, yeah, sure, I'll try that and see what happens. I know what that feels like. So I just follow that. And it's been my guide for a long time. And I take things as they come. Or I take it for what it is. And a lot of times, we need to hold on to things like we're holding on to sand or water. Just let what doesn't stay with you fall through the cracks. And then you hold on to what's left. So it was during this Watsu session that I was very aware, acutely aware, profoundly aware of how much fear was embedded in every cell in my body. It was like, whoa, I was operating, and still in some instances am operating, based in that fear energy. And fear is just, it's like lack of faith almost, or a mistrust, I would say. Fear for me sometimes just feels like I don't trust my environment, or I don't trust what's happening around me. That's where fear really comes from, right? And in every instance in spirituality, there are two sides to every coin. So you're either in unconditional love or you're in fear, and that's it, right? That's the two sides to that coin, is unconditional love or fear. And so when I set off to walk across the country, Spain, 778 kilometers in 30 days. But when I set off to do this, my intention was to discover or work out where fear was running my life. And when we make decisions in our life based on fear, when we do that, everything within that decision that we made will have fear in it. So when we're making life decisions, we can't make them, or we can, free will, right? We all have free will. We do make them in that context, but it will always, like, that fear will just be in there. oh, I'm going to do this because I don't know what's going to happen if I don't. I'm faced with, I have been in the corporate wellness industry for 9 years. And I've been with the same company for 9 years, offering guided meditations, sound healing, and mantra classes weekly. And this has been my source of income for the last 9 years. And it has provided me with the most extraordinary life for the last 9 years. I mean, I've got to travel the world more than 9 times. I've got to do some amazing things, and it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end on December 31st, 2025. So when I first received notice that it was going to come to an end, I went back into my old ways. I went back into fear. I went back into like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I better start making some phone calls and putting some feelers out there. What am I going to do next? Oh my gosh. And these last 9 years, what I've learned, what all of this has taught me the most is that what that energy that I initially put out there will have fear attached to it. So whatever you know, that law of attraction, whatever you put out there, you receive back. So everything that would come back from that would be based on fear and not truly what the universe has in store for me, or what, what it is that my soul really truly feels called to do, what would truly bring me joy and happiness. It would literally be, I would be doing things just to, let's just say, make a paycheck or earn a living. And for some of us, that really works, and it works well. And for some of us, it doesn't work that well. Where for some of us, like me, when I chase something, I'll get it, but it won't bring me the thing that the universe is trying to give me. It won't do it. If I sit back and I sit into my truest essence and I do my morning practices and I get in touch with my authentic self, I know that whatever the universe has in store for me will come my way. I know it will, because it has my whole life. It has my whole life. So that doesn't ever change. So when we talk about fear and unconditional love, when we talk about the difference of the two, I'll give you one of my funnest examples of fear and love. Is when I was in my 20s, I started to embrace swimming, and I was pretty dang good at it because my mom was a really good swimmer. My mom was, I think she trained a lot to be a swimmer, and so I joined a swim team and a swim club called Masters, and I swam like every day, and Monday through Friday. And I kind of really loved it. And then 16 years ago or 17 years ago, I moved really close to the ocean, and I met a couple that invited me to come swim with them. So I started to ocean swim. Once I ocean swam, I didn't go back to the pool, because that ocean swimming is just, it's really good. Okay. So I was experiencing I don't know, maybe a while ago, I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, I was experiencing this really strange fear about being attacked by a shark. And it's not like me to have that kind of fear. And it was unusual. And in fact, I went swimming, and the waves were really big, and everything was the water was really cold and it was kind of gray out, and I was just like, oh, this is not a good day for me to swim. So I went under a couple waves, and then I purposefully knocked my goggles off, and I was like, came up and I was like, oh, lost my goggles. Sorry, I can't swim today. And I just swam in. It's like, forget it. I'm not doing this. So that night, I had a friend that sent me a message, and she knew I was swimming, and she said, hey, are you swimming anytime soon? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to swim tomorrow morning. And she sent me a message, and she said, it doesn't end well for you. And I was like, dang. Now, I would say she probably lives maybe, I don't know, 15 miles from me. So we weren't in communication on a daily basis or anything, but that's how far my fear went. From my house to her house was 15 miles. Okay. Well, what I do, I went and borrowed a pair of goggles from somebody, and I went swimming the next day to prove to myself that I was going to be just fine. Okay, so I got over that fear. Now, let's go to the other side of it, the part that I love, unconditional love. So one of my trips in India, India is about 11 and a half or 11 or 11 and a half, depending on the time change or whatever, hours difference. So I was going a lot when my kids were like, teenage, late teens, that kind of thing. And so before my daughter went to sleep, I sent her a message and I said, hey, I'm going to go walk the star path, which means I'm going to go walk around this temple, and I'm going to say prayers for you, kid. And I did. So I walked this star path, and I think it's, I don't know, the whole thing takes like 45 minutes. And the whole time I was just thinking about my daughter, and I was thinking about like all the things that she's gone through, and just sending her love. That's all I was thinking about, was just sending her love, just giving her everything that I had. And when I got finished, I went back to my room, because you're not allowed to have your phone with you when you're there doing that. I got back to my room, and I had a message from her. She was like, I don't know what you just did, but it made me cry. And that's the power of love. Halfway around the world, you can send somebody prayers, and you can send somebody love, and they'll receive it. And at the same time, you can also send your worry and fear out there. One of them is really good, and the other one doesn't do any good. Really, it doesn't do any good. We all do have, everybody does experience fear at some point in their lives. But I think once we start to get in touch with our spirit, once we start to get in touch with the essence of who we are, that fear goes away a little bit at a time. And every time I feel now that maybe I get into that fear-based thinking, or I'm like, for me, it's patience. Oh my gosh, like something better come, and it better come quick, because I still need, I've got bills to pay, and I've got this to do and that to do. So reality, right? The practical side of living is that it does require money to get certain things to, to live. So spiritually, when I get in touch with my spirit, and then practically, that we do need these things, both of them matter. Unconditional love has such a deeper impact than fear does. You know, unconditional love brings tears to our eyes, and fear just brings more worry and concern. That is so not divine. That is not being connected to your spirit. So unconditional love or fear, that is two sides of the same coin. I hope that everyone spending time watching this can know and understand where they're making decisions in their lives based on fear, and maybe, just maybe, at some point you'll start to get more into unconditional love and make decisions based on there. Because I tell you a little secret. When we're making a decision on something that we want to do, and we bring that decision into our heart, and it's born in love, why I wanted to even start this channel, when it's born in love and there's no wavering in my decision making to do this practice, there's no wavering in my decision to start this channel, that and only that is the voice of God. Peace and love. Think about that.